So I just surpassed the 20-hour mark in the last 3 days that I've been playing this game, and let me show you what I have built within the 20 hours playing Vintage Story. Just a disclaimer, when I say 20 hours, that is not my overall time with this game. If I do add up every single minute I've dedicated to this game, I'd say I have nearly 500 to 600 hours at this point, which is not a lot, honestly speaking. I'm sure there's bigger fish out there. But nonetheless, just on this one single save, we are slightly over the 20-hour mark, which honestly feels like 6 minutes, and that should probably tell you how addicting this game really is. But anyways, this place right over here used to be our first starting point, which gradually made a transition to this little shed with a good looking roof made out of bales of hay. My biggest fear having wooden base is knowing that there are lightning strikes in this game that can and will set your home on fire. And there are multiple solutions when it comes to dealing with those sorts of things. Obviously, we can just simply build a home out of stone and just call it a day. Or if you feel extremely attached to your wooden home, you can craft a lightning rod to deflect the lightning strike and reflect it elsewhere. I suppose that could be another solution. My next project is to craft a hobbit home inspired by Lord of the Rings, which is definitely stay tuned for that video. Should be right around the corner here very shortly. Because yes, in this game you can indeed build a roof made out of grass, and you can simply just blend that in with the rest of the environment in this game, which is honestly pretty freaking cool. Something I'm also excited about is this windmill house that is coming along slowly but surely. I know it looks pretty rough right now, but I'm trying to get the base layout first, and then the details will be applied later. Don't forget that in this game you can use your hammer and your chisel tool to add that extra detail to your base, especially if you have an eye for detail. And the base building is certainly not an exception. Using high quality doors in this game can go a long way. In one of my videos I talked about their reliability and how frustrating they get at times because they tend to break a lot more than I would like to admit. And imagine you're being chased by a grizzly and you run into your home just to realize that your door has completely fallen off. And now you're trapped in this 2x2 square box with a grizzly. Something I forgot to mention in my previous video was that those very same cheap doors also allow a lot of sunlight inside of your home, which is never a good thing if you try to preserve your food in this game. Sunlight has to be avoided at all times because it accelerates oxidation, destroying vitamins and causing discoloration. Although those doors are cheap to make and they have their own use in this game, they should not be your long-term solution. Instead, you should craft a saw as soon as possible using copper to make planks and move to a bit more sturdy solution. So you just started your first journey in Vintage Story, you've located a place you want to settle in at. Let's assume you went a couple steps further and located a bunch of copper ingots and have already smelted plenty of it, and most importantly crafted numerous beginner tools. Your next step is most definitely an important one, because this will determine how easy or complicated your winter season is going to be. I strongly suggest that you start digging a pretty reasonable deep tunnel near your home because that's where your food storage is going to be taking place. Keep in mind, the deeper you dig your tunnel, the colder the temperature is going to be, therefore it will extend the expiration date of your preserved food. Also, just make sure there is no sunlight coming through. It's extremely important. Collecting berries around summertime or even at the beginning of fall isn't a good idea simply because berries tend to expire fairly quickly unless mixed with other ingredients. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be eating berries around the summertime. You certainly can. Do not stack up on berries just yet. Instead, focus on collecting and stacking up on grain as much as possible because grain does not expire unless mixed with other ingredients. Once you dug a tunnel and sculpted yourself a storage vessel, now it is crucial to start making a farm made out of medium quality soil. Not only medium quality soil is more reliable and will less likely fail your crops, but it will also require less attention from you watering it. Low quality soil should be avoided unless you are left with no other choice. Low quality soil will have to be watered daily because otherwise it will severely stun the growth of your crops. But even then, it will be extremely slow. Also, just a bonus tip, if you find yourself cooking a lot of meals using a cooking pot and it happens to be dirty and it will no longer allow you to cook more dishes, Simply toss it in the water and give it 10 seconds to clean it from regular use. Best of luck to you. Did you know that in Vintage Story a lot of things can be simply placed on the ground without requiring a chest? And although crafting a chest doesn't require a whole lot of knowledge, the developers of Vintage Story wanted to make this game feel logical. Why always have the need to craft a chest if the space around you can be easily utilized just as much? You can lean your tools against nearly anything in this game.
All together, learning about a history.
And if it gets quickly out of control and becomes too messy, so to speak, you can simply craft a tool rack, which makes your tools seem more organized. And it only requires sticks, by the way.
Love and kindness, we all need a family.
Farming becomes a huge duty in Vintage Story, and it will reward you later in tenfolds if you do it right. Instead of collecting dirt somewhere randomly scattered out in the field, I highly suggest taking that extra time and locating at least medium quality soil. Let's face it, when we make a farm, we don't do it just to have it overnight. It is a longevity thing. So with that being said, why not invest that extra time to do it right the first time around? That way we have no hiccups later in the future. Also, when you start building your farm for the first time, make sure you double stack the fence at least by 2. Otherwise, rodents and critters will still have a chance of getting inside of it and eating your crops. And we like our crops.
I did my best and knew just how to play my part.
Are you sick and tired of spending a lot of time grinding through grain to make flour? Windmill is a perfect way to eliminate that little hiccup. And the windmill doesn't have to be complicated either. All you need is resin, logs, fat, chisel, flax, fur linen, saw, sticks, and a hammer. Once the wind picks up, it will automatically start moving and grind everything you leave inside of it. That way, if you have other things to prioritize, you can just simply have stuff sitting there and come back to it later, but just to collect it though. The beautiful thing about Vintage Story is you start essentially from nothing, and the more you play and grind through the game, the easier it gets over time. Utilize Mother Nature to help you further progress in the game. And yes, you can certainly rely on automation process later in the game.
Other lovers, they may come and go. Let me tell you, this is one thing I know. There will never be another one.
Also, this is just a random tip. I see a lot of players run around without any armor in the game. You've collected your grass for the torch. You may as well use some leftover, including with the firewood, to make your character a bit more durable against your potential threat. It's not anything fancy, but in early game, this will give you a second chance. Now let's use firewood, grass, and a knife to make our armor.
I did my best and knew just how to play my part.
Are you tired of swimming all the time? Well, make a raft. Collect cattails that you've used to craft a basket for more inventory storage in the early game. Except this time around, use cattails to make some rope. Combine your rope with logs to make a raft. And use the very same resources to make something that's going to make it move. You can make a boat in this game, but for now, a simple raft will do the trick. And it doesn't really require a whole lot. Well, I hope this helped. If you are new to this game, first of all, welcome to Vintage Story, and second of all, how are you enjoying the game? We are glad to have you on board with us. Until next time.